Do you know what I find most interesting after more than 25 years of practice? Many men, and I mean many, go through their entire lives without ever discovering one particular position that can completely transform intimacy. And I'm not talking about some complicated acrobatic move you see in movies. This is something practical, something that works especially well for us here in Singapore, where we value both tradition and results. Let me tell you straight away what this position is, because I know you clicked on this video wanting real answers, not some round and round talk. The position I am referring to is what we call the Modified Elevated Missionary. Some people call it the pillow technique, others know it as the angle position, but whatever name you use, the principle is the same. The woman lies on her back, and you place 1 or 2 pillows under her hips to elevate her pelvis about 15 to 20 degrees. This simple adjustment changes everything. Why am I telling you this right at the beginning? Because I have seen too many videos and articles that promise secrets but never deliver. That is not how I operate. I'm in my clinic at Mount Elizabeth. I have counseled thousands of couples, and the number one complaint I hear from men is this: they do not know if their partner is truly satisfied. You want to fix that? Then pay attention to what I am about to share. This elevated position works because of basic anatomy. When a woman's hips are raised, her pelvis tilts forward naturally. This creates a better angle for stimulating not just one, but multiple sensitive areas inside. The G-spot, which sits about 2 to 3 inches inside on the front wall, becomes much more accessible. At the same time, with the right depth, you can also reach what we call the A-spot, located deeper near the cervix. Medical research confirms that these areas have high concentrations of nerve endings, and when stimulated properly, they send signals directly to the pleasure centers in the brain. I still remember one patient, Mr. Tan, who came to see me a few years back. He was 62, retired from his civil service job, and he told me honestly that after 40 years of marriage, things in the bedroom had become very routine. His wife was patient, loving, but he could tell something was missing. He asked me, "Dr. Ong, is there anything I can do at my age?" And I told him exactly what I am telling you now. The beauty of this position is that it does not require strength or stamina like some younger men might have. You are not supporting your full body weight. Your knees and your arms help distribute the load, and because the angle does most of the work, you can focus on rhythm and connection instead of just physical effort. Mr. Tan tried it, and 3 weeks later, he came back to my clinic with the biggest smile. He said his wife asked him where he learned that from. Now let me explain why understanding your partner's body is so important before you even get to the position itself. Many men think that intensity equals pleasure. Faster is better, harder is better. But that is actually not how the female body works. Women respond to a combination of physical sensation and emotional safety. When a woman feels relaxed and secure, her parasympathetic nervous system activates. Blood flow increases to all the right areas. Sensitivity goes up. She becomes more receptive to pleasure. On the other hand, if she is tense, worried, or uncomfortable, her sympathetic nervous system takes over. This is the fight or flight response. Blood flow decreases, lubrication drops. Even if you are doing all the right movements, her body will not respond the way you want. This is why I always tell my patients, foreplay begins long before you reach the bedroom. A kind word during dinner, a gentle touch on the shoulder. These small things add up. Recent MRI studies have shown something fascinating. When researchers scanned women's brains during intimacy, they found that the angle and tempo of stimulation made a huge difference in how the brain responded. The same action, performed at a slightly different angle, lit up completely different areas of the brain. This tells us that technique matters more than effort. And the Modified Elevated Missionary naturally optimizes that angle. Let me break down the 3 key features of this position. First, the pelvic tilt. When a woman's hips are raised on pillows, her pelvis angles forward by about 15 to 20 degrees. This brings the G-spot and A-spot into direct alignment with the natural motion of intimacy. Instead of straight in and out movement, you get a gentle upward curve that applies consistent pressure to these sensitive areas. Many women describe this as a fuller, more satisfying sensation. Second, the freedom of movement. In this position, you're not locked into one pattern. You can move forward and back, yes, but you can also make circular motions, side-to-side adjustments, even a gentle rocking motion. This variety prevents the brain from getting used to one type of stimulation. When sensations keep changing unpredictably, arousal stays high. The brain keeps waiting for what comes next, and that anticipation itself becomes part of the pleasure. Third, the emotional connection. Unlike positions where you cannot see each other, this one keeps you face to face. You can maintain eye contact. You can read her expressions. You can whisper reassuring words. Psychologically, this visual connection enhances trust and intimacy. Studies have shown that when partners maintain eye contact during intimacy, oxytocin levels increase significantly. Oxytocin is sometimes called the bonding hormone, and higher levels lead to stronger emotional attachment and deeper satisfaction. Now, here is where many men go wrong. They find a position that works, but they do not know how to move properly. Let me share with you the fundamentals of effective movement. Start slow. I cannot emphasize this enough. Do not rush into intense movement right away. Begin with shallow, gentle motions. This serves two purposes. Physically, it allows your partner's body to adjust and relax. Psychologically, it builds anticipation. Research shows that gradual escalation of stimulation keeps the brain's pleasure centers active for longer compared to starting at high intensity. Next, vary your angles. Even though this position already provides a good baseline angle, small adjustments make a big difference. Shift your hips slightly left, then right. Tilt forward a bit more, then ease back. Each variation stimulates different nerve endings. Your partner might not consciously notice these changes, but her body will respond. Play with tempo. If you maintain the same speed throughout, her brain will adapt and the sensations will feel less intense over time. This is called sensory adaptation, and it is why the first bite of your favorite char kway teow always tastes better than the 10th. Alternate between slower, deliberate movements and slightly faster rhythms. Create unpredictability. Use your hands. Your hips are not the only thing that should be moving. Your hands can stroke her sides, caress her back, hold her face. Touch activates additional nerve pathways and makes the overall experience richer. When you combine visual, auditory, and tactile stimulation, the brain receives a symphony of pleasure signals instead of just one note. And most importantly, pay attention to her responses. When her breathing quickens, when her body starts moving in sync with yours, these are signs that pleasure is building. When you notice these signals, maintain what you are doing. This is not the time to change things up. Many men make the mistake of switching techniques right when their partner is approaching climax, thinking they need to add more stimulation. Actually, consistency at that moment is what she needs. One survey conducted with couples who tried this position found that 74% reported improved satisfaction, and more than half said they reached climax faster than before. These are not small numbers. And the reason is not that the stimulation is more intense, but that it is more accurate. You are targeting the right spots with the right pressure. Let me also talk about communication, because no amount of technique can replace genuine connection. Before you begin, set the mood. Keep the room comfortable, maybe slightly warm, dim the lights if she prefers, and speak to her in a calm, reassuring voice. Something as simple as telling her that you want to focus on her pleasure tonight can immediately shift her mindset from obligation to anticipation. During the act itself, gentle words of affirmation work wonders. Telling her she looks beautiful, that you find her incredibly attractive. These statements boost her confidence and allow her to relax more fully. But do not overdo the questions. Constantly asking, "Are you okay?" or "Do you like this?" can pull her out of the moment. Read her body language instead. Learn to interpret size, muscle tension, and movement patterns. Now let me address some common mistakes that I see men make, even when they are trying their best. The first mistake is using too much force. Some men believe that harder equals better, but the female body, especially the internal sensitive areas, responds better to consistent moderate pressure than to aggressive movement. Too much force can cause discomfort or even pain, which activates the stress response and reduces pleasure. The second mistake is being inconsistent. When something is working, stick with it. I have had female patients tell me that their partner changes position or rhythm right when they're about to reach the peak. This is incredibly frustrating for women because once that build-up is interrupted, it can be difficult to get back to that point. The third mistake is ignoring physical comfort. If your partner's knees are aching or her back is strained, she cannot focus on pleasure. Make sure the pillows are positioned correctly. Check in occasionally to see if she needs adjustment. And if you yourself have back issues, do not be shy to use additional support. In Singapore, we are very practical people. There is no shame in using what works. The fourth mistake is prioritizing your own finish. This is a sensitive topic, but it needs to be said. When a man reaches his peak before his partner and then stops all activity, it leaves her feeling unfulfilled and sometimes even used. Always ensure she is satisfied first or continue stimulating her afterwards. This consideration alone will dramatically improve how she views your intimate life together. Let me share another case with you. Mr. Lim, age 56, came to me because he had issues with his lower back. Years of sitting at a desk job had taken that toll, and he found it difficult to maintain positions for extended periods. His marriage was suffering because of it. I suggested the Modified Elevated Missionary because it requires less core strength from the man. The pillows under his wife's hips meant he did not need to hold himself up as much. He could use his knees and arms for support, taking pressure off his spine. Within a month, he reported that not only was his back pain manageable during intimacy, but his wife was more responsive than she had been in years. This position is adaptable. If there is a height difference between you and your partner, adjust the pillow height. If she has hip flexibility issues, start with just one thin pillow and increase gradually. You can even experiment with the position of her legs, whether they are straight, bent at the knees, or wrapped around you. Each variation creates subtle changes in angle and pressure. For added pleasure, you can incorporate other types of stimulation while maintaining this position. Gentle touch on other sensitive areas, whispered words, eye contact that communicates desire. Research confirms that multisensory stimulation creates stronger neural responses than single-point stimulation. The brain essentially receives pleasure signals from multiple channels at once, creating a more intense overall experience. Here is something else that many people do not talk about. The psychological benefits extend beyond the bedroom. Couples who report satisfying intimate lives tend to communicate better overall. They express gratitude more often. They have fewer arguments about trivial matters. This is not coincidence. When both partners feel physically satisfied and emotionally connected, it creates a positive feedback loop that strengthens the entire relationship. Hormones play a role too. After satisfying intimacy, both partners release oxytocin and endorphins. These hormones reduce stress, lower cortisol levels, and create feelings of well-being. In Singapore's high-pressure environment where everyone is busy with work, family obligations, and financial concerns, this natural stress relief is incredibly valuable. I have seen marriages transform because couples finally learn how to connect physically in a way that satisfied both partners. Mr. and Mrs. Wong, both in their early 60s, told me they had been going through the motions for years. Nothing was wrong exactly, but nothing was exciting either. After implementing what I taught them, Mrs. Wong told her husband she felt like they were dating again. That spark they thought was gone forever, it was just waiting to be reignited. You might be thinking, Dr. Ong, this all sounds good, but can I really change things at my age? And my answer to you is absolutely yes. This is not about athletic ability or youthful stamina. This is about understanding technique and genuine care for your partner. These qualities often improve with age, not decline. The men I have counseled who see the best results share common traits. They are patient. They are observant. They prioritize their partner's experience. And they are willing to learn. The fact that you are watching this video tells me you have these qualities. You want to be better. You want your relationship to be better. That mindset is already half the battle, so let me summarize what you should remember. The position is the Modified Elevated Missionary using 1 or 2 pillows under her hips. Start with slow, gentle movements and gradually build intensity. Vary your angles, tempo, and incorporate hand movements. Pay attention to her signals and maintain consistency when pleasure is building. Communicate with warmth and reassurance. Avoid common mistakes like excessive force, inconsistency, or neglecting her comfort. And always prioritize her satisfaction. This is knowledge that you can use tonight. And once you experience the difference it makes, you will understand why I have spent over 25 years helping couples discover these principles. Your partner will look at you differently. The connection between you will deepen, and your relationship will enter a new chapter of intimacy and trust. If you found this helpful, please subscribe to my channel. I share practical advice for mature couples who want to maintain healthy, satisfying relationships. Leave a comment telling me your experience because your story might help someone else who is facing similar challenges. And remember, age is never a barrier to a fulfilling, intimate life. It is just a matter of having the right knowledge and the willingness to apply it. Take care of each other.